Hello, I am Braggy, and how many Viking weapons am I carrying today on me? Well, in this video we're going to talk and go through the weapons that I am carrying. And I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you also see the improvement of the quality of the videos we're making now that we've got a better camera. So the first thing, of course, is your shield. Now some people will say this is not a weapon, but you have this, a shield boss. And let's face it, if you use it to thrust into somebody's face, or you can knock them over, it's quite lethal. Alternatively, you can hold it upright and thrust it into them. Let's face it, if you get a shield thrusted, sideways into your neck, you'll definitely know about it. So that's the first weapon I am carrying. But some people would say that's controversial to say that a shield is a weapon. I say it's not. I say it is. Of course, the second one I'm carrying, it's a good old sea axe, a good old knife. This is a blunt one, because you need one of these, because it's very essential in battle that you have a sidearm in case you lose your axe, and if you don't have the money, the coin, to own a sword. So, my sea axe, or the sax in Viking. Because I'm wearing and carrying a Francisca throwing axe. The Franks love these, but so do the Vikings, because they're great for throwing. But would you want to carry one of these, or would you prefer to carry 3 javelins? Personally, I'd probably go for both options. I'd have a good throwing axe, but I'd also carry 3 javelins so that I could throw them into the fray of the enemy before the shield wall clashes. But how many javelins would an average Viking carry? Well, I'd say between 1 to 3, if you could afford to have javelins. Not everybody has the coin and the money to have a javelin. And of course the Francisca is such a great thing, and it's really lethal because they'll bounce, they hit the floor and they'll bounce up, and they could hit you under your chin, or they could bounce behind the back of you and hit you in the back of the head. They're not the most easiest thing to throw. And this one's had a bit of damage from trying to throw because the wedge has come out, because it's not being made properly to my standard of liking. And it's sharp for throwing. And then on my back I have a spare axe, because I'm wealthy enough to have a spare axe. And if I can get it out, so there you go. It is a blunt axe for fighting. Of course, in the modern Viking reenactment, you often hear before the battle people banging the shield, shouting insult. But would you do that as a Viking in the actual Viking times? Well, probably so, but you'd use the back end of your axe and not the blunt end, because you don't want to damage your shield. 1,000 men doing that on the shield is rather intimidating, which is the point of it. So let's put my shield down. We'll put this axe back, and that is a Paul Binns axe, and it has a nice edge and slightly rusty because I've not been looking after it, and the handle is being worked at some point with a design here, and I quite like this thicker bit compared to this thinner bit. And it also has a bit of a taper here, so when your hand slides down it's not going to fall out your hand. Some people like to put a bit of leather here, which is also a very great and wonderful idea, and I do have a few axes with leather at this point, because it does make a difference. It gives it a bit extra grip. So we'll put this one away, because if you don't have a loop for your axe, you can just shove it in your belt. That's quite acceptable. So the next thing I'm carrying, after I undo my peace tie, is a sword. This is one by Armour Class. It's quite short actually, and this was the sword I brought for Eggle to use in any combat videos we did. And like I said, it's a blunt sword. It's had a bit of use, bit of wear, bit of age. It's quite short, but it's very nice. And if you're looking for a cheap option for a decent Viking sword, and I do recommend Armour Class, because the prices are very reasonable compared to if you go to somewhere like Paul Binns. And of course it has a scabbard, which I'll walk back, you'll see, and it's a solid construction, wood underneath and leather on top. A sheath is always flexible, where scabbards are always solid. And I suppose you could actually whack somebody around the head with the scabbard if you lost your sword, but would that have happened in the Dark Ages? I don't know, couldn't say. So the next thing I'm carrying is another knife, which I've got to dig out. This is a sharp sea axe or sax. This used to be Anglo-Saxons one, which he gave me many years ago to look after, and it's been looked after now. He's passed away, and that's great for eating your dinner. So those are the sort of weapons I am carrying. So I try to find where the sheath is for it. There we go. Because you've got to get to know your kit. That's very, very important. Because I'm not wearing a helmet. If I had the coin, I'll probably afford to buy a helmet. And helmets are very essential for Viking reenacting, especially these days, because you don't want to be hitting your head. And it's not really advised that you're going to battle without one. But not everybody could afford a helmet, because there's a lot of metal in a helmet, and that costs money. It costs money to make and costs money to get the metal. So what you could wear is a leather skull cap, which will give you some protection. But again, if you get whacked on the head with a skull cap by an axe, it's going to cut through the leather, and it may also cut through your metal of your helmet. So it's not guaranteed, but it's an important thing for safety. And the last thing I'm wearing, which is a little bit early for this period, is I'm wearing another sea axe, but this one is much earlier. It's more 4th to 6th century, and it's Germanic, and it's very much like a machete. It's very lethal and very sharp, and that was manufactured by Celtic Red Merchant, and I think it was about £40, I must say, for that, with the sheath. Excellent bargain and a really good steal. And I do recommend you check out their website. So those are some of the basic weapons I am carrying. But did you count them? Let's count them. So I've got a Francisca, that's 1. I've got a blunt sea axe, 2. I've got my shield is 3. And I've got my sword, 4. My spare axe is number 5. And my eating sea axe is number 6. And of course 6 is a very lucky number to the Norse, as well as 9. And let's just talk and walk through my kit. So I'm wearing a linen under tunic, which you can't really see, but it is there. And on that I've got a brooch of a boar there. I'm wearing a woolen tunic to keep me warm, and I've got an over tunic, which is a bit more eastern, but I do like it for filming in this cold climate of England because it keeps me warm. I've got some woolen trousers and some Viking sea boots. There's a lot of speculation about Viking sea boots being a bit later in the period and they didn't have sea boots, but I'm open to debate on that. And I like to wear these because they feel really, really nice and comfy. You can't really see them. And it's very important that you get a pair of shoes that feel comfortable. And I know the guy that I got these off and given to me, he paid about £600 to have these shoes made, mainly because of the guy who made them. Because I'm wearing 3 Thor's hammers, which is excessively too many, but as a modern Viking we like to show off our wealth, and I may have 1 Thor's hammer, although mostly women wore the jewellery and the wealth in the time, so it's a bit of a reenactorism. But again, I'm showing my wealth as a Viking in the modern world. Of course, I've got a woolen hat with 2 brooches. Would the average hat have 1 or 2 brooches? Well, 1 is enough, really. I've just got 2 on at the moment because it looks nice. And of course, I've got a shoulder bag to put some of the essential items you may carry, like your flint and steel to start a fire. You may have some coin in there, some money, or some hack silver bracelets or some ingots. You may have a bowl or a cup, but you wouldn't want to carry too much because it does drag you down, it does affect your shoulders and you do ache, especially in the modern world because we're not built like the Vikings were, because they were very tough and hardy people. So that is a few things. And of course this shield is a Saxon shield because it's got the boar, which represents Mercia. And as a Viking, I would say that I would have got this of a dead corpse of somebody I killed in battle. Would a Viking go around with a boar? Well, maybe so, because let's face it, Vikings like to go out hunting boar, but it is fundamentally a symbol of Mercia. Of course, Mercia didn't exist before we get to the 10th century and was long gone. So those are a few things in this video, and I do hope you like it. And if you're new to the channel, then we're we're kind of a history storytelling channel, but we also have a sense of humour. We like memes, videos, we do a lot of them on the short format, but we've also told a lot of folk tales. We told a lot of stories from the Viking sagas. I do urge you to go out and check out the playlist from Tirkir Thorkelson, because he's got some excellent videos from the back in the day in 2017, before he quit the channel at 2 in the morning one day. And of course, Egil Thorson, our former and late host, who sadly passed away last year in 2023, has told some wonderful tales, and he has some marvellous voices. We're also developing a character on the channel called Dave the Cat, because we have a sense of humour, and we think, you know, having a Viking cat filmed in a cartoony way, which has all been done by Eirik Rickardsson. So thank you, Eirik, for those wonderful videos, because I really do enjoy it. And I think at some point, because I'm one of the co-creators of Dave the Cat along with Egil, and Eirik is also a co-creator because he's developed the character, and at some point my girlfriend will be joining the channel and she's got better health. We're going to develop that character a bit more. It's just a way to get out some more videos, and I hope you do like the content we make on the channel. Of course, I've been experimenting with AI content as well, in the long format and also in the short format, but I'm trying not to put too much of it out. The minimum amount of AI content I'll put out a day is one video, because let's face it, I'm really used to producing a lot of content. I can produce quality content, I can produce a lot of it, because in an afternoon filming I could film 100 short videos very easily. Of course, some of them will not work out and some of them will do. So that is basically what we're about. You know, we like a history, but we also like a laughter. We don't take life too seriously, and we like to have fun and educate and entertain. We're also going to develop other things on the channel, like GCSE history content, because there's a big market for that, which I don't think has been kind of filled up on YouTube. And surprisingly, for GCSE history, they don't teach about Vikings. It's Saxons and then the Normans, and they miss that massive era in between, really, which is a bit sad. So, yes. So I am Braggy, and it's now time for me to telegraph the end of the video. Goodbye, and we'll see you on the next video. Fat hail and good health, and I hope I have not bored you too much. Now, as a Viking berserker, I could bite my shield.
Welcome to Northworthy Sagas and Stories. Please subscribe and also click on the notification bell. Thank you for watching.